Apostrophe CMS onboarding series, Widgets, Part 2, Creating a Call to Action widget. In the last tutorial, we introduced you to custom widgets by creating a layout widget. This widget took advantage of Bootstrap styling to give content editors a way to add rows with a variable number of columns of different width. As practice and to reiterate the key concepts in creating a widget, we are next going to make a simple widget that will allow the user to set up a call to action area on the page. This widget is used on the right side of the bottom area of the tutorial project homepage. Again, you can follow along with the tutorial to modify your own project, or to see the progress of the project while following this tutorial, switch to the sec2-4-widgets branch of the Apostrophe onboarding project repo on GitHub linked in the comments below. As you can see, on our homepage, we are adding multiple CTA cards that include an image and URL link with some Bootstrap styling. Again, by convention, a widget module folder is named with a -widget suffix and contains an index.js and views/widget.html files. We can use the CLI tool to create this basic structure using apos add widget deal, where deal is the name of the widget. Remember to add the widget to the app.js file after creation so that it is available in our project. With our widget module created, we will first add the schema fields needed to add content to each card. Open the newly created module/dealWidget/index.js file and add the following code. Again, I'm going to paste it in and then I'll walk you through it. We are adding 3 required schema fields: a title field of the string type, a link field of the URL type, and finally, we're adding an image using an area field with an @CMS image core widget. In this final image field, we are specifying that a user can only add a single image using the max1 property. Within the image widget, we are limiting the image to an aspect ratio of 16:9 with a minimum horizontal resolution of 1200 pics and a minimum vertical resolution of 675 pics. In this way, you can ensure that any images added by the user won't break the design. If the user adds an image that has a different aspect ratio, Apostrophe will apply an automatic crop to the image. The user can adjust how the image is cropped using the editing tools, but will still be restrained to the 16:9 aspect ratio. Any images not meeting the resolution minimums won't be presented to the user as a choice. Now that we have our schema fields in place, we need to create the layout for our cards. This will require using some Apostrophe helpers to fetch the URL for the image we want to display in our card. We don't want to limit where these cards might be used in the future, so we're going to make the markup self-contained so that it can be added to any area on any page. Add the following code to the modules dealWidget views widget.html file. Again, I'll paste the code in and then we'll walk through it. In the first line of this template, we are setting the value of the image variable to the object added to our image schema field. We are using a built-in method, apos.image.first. This allows us to get the first image added to an area. While we are passing in the image schema field as an argument, this same helper can be used to get the first image on a page or within any other document. You can also add an optional object to return the first image of a certain type, apos.image.first, page.body, extension PNG. This would return the very first PNG file that's found on the page.body object. You might be able to guess from the name that this is a method defined in the @CMS image module. The next block of code makes sure that the image object exists, and if not, loads in a holder image. If it does exist, another built-in method is used to get the URL of a specific size image. In this case, we are getting the 1/6 size. By default, when you upload an image using the media library, there are 6 resized images saved in addition to the original: max, full, 2/3, 1/2, 1/3, and 1/6. These default sizes can be changed through configuration of the @CMS attachment module. We are also setting the alt text for the image from the image variable. You can use apos log to see what other info is available. Finally, we're using standard markup and nunchucks tags to construct our final deal card HTML. Like the row widget, we will be using the deal widget on the homepage. Once again, we could add it to the top and bottom areas of the homepage. However, since we added the area configuration for our rows from the lib/area.js file, let's instead add it there. Open the file and modify the code to look like the following. We are first converting our original export to a variable with our base widgets. Next, we are creating a config that has the deal widget added. Finally, we are creating two named exports and eliminating the default export. This also means that we need to alter the import in the modules row widget lib fields.js file. You can now spin up your site and add a deal widget. If you are choosing to create the demo site from scratch, first, add a row widget to either the top or the bottom area and select a column size. Second, add a deal widget and populate the fields with title, link, and image. In a real production site, it would probably be better to modify the link field to give the user a choice between an existing page or an outside URL. We'll build this when we create our site navigation. If you are building the project using the GitHub repo, now would be a good time to use some of those resources to populate your site more quickly. So before we conclude, I want to briefly talk about how we can use the database backup and files in the GitHub repository to recreate the demo site. I've copied over 2 folders into my local project since I'm not switching branches in the cloned repository. If you have cloned the repository locally, you'll already have these folders. First, I copy the database backup folder. As the name says, this contains a dump of the MongoDB database for the final project. Second, I copy the public uploads attachments folder. This contains all of the images that were used in the demo. Also located in this folder is a JSON file that contains the credits for each image. To restore the database so that it can be used with the local project, I'm going to add a script to the package.json file. Again, if you cloned the repo, this script will already exist. Depending on the name you have given your project, you may have to alter this script. We want to delete out the value of the ns2 flag and set it to the name of the project located at the top of the package.json file. This name is what is used to create your project database name. Then we'll run the script to transfer the database dump. Note that this will overwrite any users that you have added for your project. Since I created the project, I know what the admin password is. You'll have to run the command node app @cms/user :change-password admin and enter a new password. Next, we can spin our site up. While it might not be necessary, I'm getting rid of the apos build and data/temp folders, plus passing the apos dev flag when starting the site to make sure everything is rebuilt. Because not all of the code for the project is complete, we will get some errors, but we can ignore them for now. Scrolling down on the page after login, we can see that the lower right side of our homepage is now populated with a number of deal widgets. Opening one up, we can see that it would be easy to change the image or any other properties of the widget. In this short tutorial, we have created a widget to allow our content editors to add call to action cards to the site. The card has some text, a link, and an image. Even though we used an area schema field and an image widget for image selection, we didn't use the area helper to render this image. Instead, we collected the information about the image using 2 other Apostrophe helpers. This provides a few advantages over using the built-in area renderer. You have more flexibility in how the image will be placed on the page. For example, you could have conditional logic that emits the image under certain conditions. You will also have greater access to image metadata to create captions, add image credits, or other attributes. Using the image widget rather than a relationship, however, gives us greater control of the dimensions and resolution of the images that the editor can upload. In the next and final video on widget creation, we will create a rating widget. This widget will allow the content creator to post a product rating, but we will also look at how to add interactivity using a player to deliver JavaScript to the client side. We will also use this widget to learn about an additional way to deliver template content, the async component. If you have any questions about this tutorial or want more help starting your Apostrophe CMS project, please join our vibrant community in Discord. You can join right now by following the link in the comments. We hope that you will continue along with our tutorial series and subscribe to the other great videos in our channel.